selling real estate and attracting buyers in Rapid City for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. If you're thinking of selling your current home, let me put my expertise to work for you. Just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker. List it, sell it, and move on. With me, David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
College football's coaches poll. Ohio State is second. Those two schools will face off in Columbus to open the college football season on Saturday, August 30th. The rest of the top five is Penn State at 3, Georgia at 4, Notre Dame coming in at number 5. Some news from the NFL. Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders returned to practice today after missing Saturday with a sore shoulder. Dylan Gabriel, fellow rookie on the Browns, sat out practice today because of tightness in his hamstring. Colts released a depth chart that had Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson as their first-team quarterback, while the Jaguars' depth chart lists Travis Hunter as a first-team wide receiver, and the two-way player is listed as a second-team cornerback. Falcons gave right tackle Caleb McCrary a 2-year extension worth $30 million. The 2026 men's and women's NCAA basketball tournaments will remain at 68 teams. De'Aaron Fox gets a 4-year max extension from the Spurs. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Monday afternoon, everybody. How are you? We're glad to be back. Hope you had a nice weekend. We're ready to go tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live right here, Fox Sports Radio. Welcome in. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Say it with me. We're back at it, and it's August, man. It's now time to get into the good stuff here. We got football coming up. We got fall sports. I mean, good stuff across the board. We got wild stuff happening late summer as well. So here we go. The Nate Brown Show is back on. Thanks for making the show possible. Fox Sports Radio's coverage across the state and on X right now. You can follow us and watch us live at Nate Brown Show. Follow us on X at Nate Brown Show. You've got the show live there. YouTube channel is up. The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe if you're a YouTube guy. You've got us, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. And what do we got on the show tonight? Good stuff. Let's look at the guest lineup, and we'll get after it this week. Full week, man. Last week there was some American Legion baseball kind of intertwined in the mix on our affiliates. So we're in. We're ready. Full week of shows. And I was just asked, hey, you going to take any more shows off? Well, probably not much. Probably it's time to hit the gas here, and we appreciate you being a part of the show. Let's get into it tonight. Guest lineup. Let's look at it. Will Simmons is coming up. Will, how about that? 21-year-old guy. He comes back and coaches Harrisburg Legion, post 45 gold, and they end up winning the Legion baseball tournament Saturday in Watertown. Harrisburg's won 2 out of the last 3 years, and they go into that tournament as a 7th seed. Will Simmons takes over kind of later in the year here, and the coach, a young guy, he's playing college baseball at North Carolina, and this Harrisburg alum comes back and coaches the Harrisburg Gold team to a state Legion title. They're on their way to the Central Plains Regional. Will Simmons coming up tonight. We'll talk to him live. His story, college baseball to now coaching Legion. How about an interesting one there? So Will Simmons coming up. Congrats to him on a run there with that good bunch of players. That was an interesting role They got going and took out some good teams on their way to the win. Let's go to Matt Zimmer tonight. Zim's in tonight from Sioux Falls Live. I want some college football updates. He's been at camp. I've seen him there at SDSU, USD. So let's get Zimmer on tonight. SiouxFallsLive.com coming up. Declan Goff joins us from the Twin Cities. Haven't had him on before. He's a Twins analyst for Score North. And Declan Goff is in from the Twin Cities, ScoreNorth.com's Twins analyst. And finally, Brian Noe kicking off the week with the Noe Show, talking NFL, Cowboys. What a situation they're in. Brian Noe sounds off here, countdown host on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show back on a Monday, and you can get back in tonight. If you haven't called the show, you can do that. The Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Stop by East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, also in Brandon, 2 locations in Rapid City. It's your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch, and the studio hotline for you, 605-720-1067. Join us on a Monday. Liven up your Monday, 605-720-1067 there. And the Barron's Wilson text line. Same number. Text the show if you can. 605-720-1067. You're invited in. Either way, call or text. Be a part of the conversation. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, 605-720-1067. We're in the books. Okay, so you know where we have to go this Monday. I mean, you know where we have to go. There's a lot to hit tonight. Football, baseball, all of that stuff. But we have to start with the Minnesota Twins scenario. With the trade deadline in Major League Baseball and the Twins last second, they dump everybody. So you look at this from a fan's perspective. I'm not a Twins homer. I want to talk to you Twins fans that go to the games, the season ticket holders. You make the trip from Sioux Falls. You are a Twins lifer. And there's a lot of them because there's some great Twins memories. We all know this organization, back in the 80s, 90s, you had some great memories there. Few and far between, always competitive in the postseason. They did just win a postseason series 2 years ago. So you thought it was kind of looking up in this AL Central that was winnable. I didn't see the Tigers coming along. Like my friend Chris here, the great loyal listener, the number 1 Tiger fan in South Dakota. I didn't see the Tigers coming, but the Twins should be there. The AL Central is doable. It's winnable. At least compete. And so since the Twins started struggling here after the All-Star break, they needed to make some moves. And so I'm gonna go down this road. Where do fans sit on this? I don't think this is a typical, we're not very good, we need to plan for the future, let's get rid of some expiring contracts. That's where I think fans would accept it today. This is just me from being objective. I'm looking at them unloading 10 players, and essentially, here's what comes to my mind quickly. The sale of the team that they're trying to have happen. And so when you dig into this, all of this happenings from late last week, there's been a reaction now across the board throughout the weekend. Where is this Twins organization going? Well, there's 2 things. They weren't going anywhere this year. I understand it. I think maybe some fans are still holding out hope. Well, this is kind of what you have to do. You got to get rid of Correa. You got to get rid of some of these guys and get something for them. Because we're out of the race now, so you got to get something for them. Did you expect the entire, half the roster almost? I mean, that's essentially where we're at. Out of a 26-man bunch, 10 players, some key contributors. Some of these guys sticking around, Buxton and some of these guys, but it's full rebuild mode, and some fans will accept that. But here's why I'm looking at it saying this is different now, because the other direction they're going, they're trying to sell the team. And so me as a sports fan, I don't want to think about my owner making a business transaction for his organization and then trying to work on the bottom line to make that sale look better. That's what I'm worried about from this Twins, whatever you want to call it, fire sale. So this has the potential, I think, even the Twins lifers, you're always going to like the Twins. It's ingrained in you. It's baseball. That's my team. This is something that I think the fans didn't quite expect. They didn't think they were this far off from being fairly good. The Twins thought they would be pretty good this year. They weren't that many pieces away. They've made some moves. And now it looks like they've tailed off, so they're out of contention this year, but now they've just blown it up, and it feels like it's, well, we got to maybe make this better for our organization to not be in debt, to not have a big payroll. Maybe we can make this better for our financial side. That's what it looks like to me, objectively looking. And then you look at some of the reporting on this. If some of this reporting is accurate, and I've had Bob Nightingale on this show, legendary Major League Baseball writer. He's been with USA Today forever. The Bob Nightingale. I've read his pieces for a long time. Pick up the USA Today outside my hotel room. It's Bob Nightingale on the front page in the summer. And so Bob Nightingale is saying he has sources on this saying the Astros talked the Twins owners into, hey, give us Correa, pay some of his salary, and then you may want to keep on making moves because if you're trying to do a sale, probably better if you don't have as much players, don't have as many expensive players on your payroll. I don't know if you're going to buy that or not. I haven't texted Bob Nightingale. I haven't asked him to come on. Maybe we'll try it just to see his perspective. But that's one of the stories getting a lot of attention today from the Twins transactions, all of these transactions, and they're not getting a ton of value. You could say prospect this, prospect that. Nobody cares about prospects when you've invested in trying to be competitive. They were closer to being competitive, and now they've blown the thing up. And it feels like it's we're trying to sell the team, and we don't need them to be that good. We need our financial sheets to look good. That's what it feels like to me. And Bob Nightingale actually goes into his anonymous sources saying he spoke with a GM who knew about these conversations between the Astros and the Twins, and that's how this whole thing started. Supposedly, Bob Nightingale reporting the Twins weren't planning to do what they just did, getting rid of all of these players, cents on the dollar, bringing, I got this prospect or that prospect from here or there. The Twins got rid of some key players, and they didn't get that much value in return, but the Astros supposedly talked the Twins into going full. Hey, you should probably just keep this thing going. And then Correa's like, well, if the Twins are going to rebuild, I guess I'm out. I don't want to be here, so I'm out. So this Twins thing, I'm going to ask you right off the bat tonight. I'm going to ask passionate Twins fans. I like your passion. Stuck with the Twins through thick and thin, through all the 18 postseason losses in a row. How important is this Twins organization to you? How much do you care now about where the Twins are going? Because my thought is the ownership that's decided to go down this road, they can say whatever they want. They sent out the email to you, season ticket holders, over the weekend. Sent out the email, hey, we just got better. We had to make some hard decisions, but we got better here in pitching, and we got better for the future. I love these emails. I don't know how they craft those. It's a great meeting that they have amongst the minds. How can we spin this? How can we make sure that people don't think we're bailing? Hey, how can we do this? I'm going to ask you, do you care about this Twins organization as much as you used to? That's what I'm going to ask you tonight. Twins baseball fans across South Dakota. I would say it's probably the number one followed team in the state of South Dakota. Many people make their trek to Target Field. This Target Field era has not been the greatest. Competitive, some postseasons, not the greatest. And now it just takes a left turn and it's gone. Now the Twins, here's the other part on this. Just as a baseball fan, this has to be one of the most defeating things. And now Minnesota sports fans are, well, I'm on to the Vikings anyway. I'm on to the Vikings. So they'll say that excuse. This type of baseball stuff is a killer for fans because it's August 4th and your team just blew up the whole thing. You're out for this season. You're out for who knows how many more seasons. What are if I'm a Twins fan in Minnesota tonight, why am I going to any more games? The whole team's gone. The owners told you, hey, we're trying to, what'd they say, make ourselves better. We got in better position now. I think they just got in the best position on their bottom dollar. That's the only reason this big sale happened. You're going to make some moves on expiring contracts. That's what organizations do. Trade deadline. Who can we unload? Get some value for? And then they just went for broke. And it sure seems interesting that Bob Nightingale reported on it over the weekend. The Astros kept on talking to the Twins like, if you're trying to sell the teams, probably look a little better if you do a little bit more, including the Correa deal. So that would be nice, too. Do you care about this Twins organization going forward as much as you used to? Question of the day on the Nate Brown Show tonight. As we start, I'm trying to relate to this. So, if one of my teams has done this, I think about my Cubs a while ago. So this is interesting. My Cubs finally win a World Series. They finally win a World Series. And then they decide to axe Joe Madden and the manager, and I thought, well, okay, that's interesting. Then they started getting rid of players. Baez, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo. And I felt like they gave up early on that nucleus that won the World Series. I felt like my Cubbies gave up early. There was still some prime years left. And then they thought, no, there's not. We're starting to hit the turn, and we got to get rid of these guys before we do it too late. And you could argue that the Cubs went lean there for a few years. And now I can come back and report they're back in the mix now. So was it all worth it? To me, it really wasn't, because the down years that you have, and I mean down, you're just like not interested. I wasn't engaged. I was really engaged with that nucleus. Baez, Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, Ben Zobrist. I was really engaged with these guys. It was Cubs baseball at its finest. They win the World Series, and then they bailed early. And you can say, well, now they're good again. Well, what I'm telling you is you get out of touch of, are they going to be competitive? Are they going to be in the division? Are they going to stay in this thing? My Cubs haven't been there for quite some time. And then all of the stars that were there left. Here the Twins are, feels like they weren't like way far away in the AL Central. It's the AL Central. It feels like they weren't that far away. And in baseball, you give up on the season. And in baseball, you do stuff like this. And for a fan base, you got to go, this is going to be tough. And the sale on top of it feels like the owners don't want to care about being competitive. They want to care about getting $1.7 billion, and you hope that some owner comes in and rights the ship. It's not a great day to be a Twins fan. That's what it feels like to me. At least my Cubs they got some ownership. I didn't think they were going to bail on a classic organization at a huge market like that. My Cubbies are in a big market, so I thought they'd get back to it. But it's been harder than you think. It's been harder for the Cubbies than you think, and it's going to be hard for the Twins. Let's see here. Do you care about this Twins organization moving forward now? Big fire sale, got rid of players, and I feel like it's the owner. No fan ever wants to think, well, how's the owner going to do in this? I'm really wondering if the owner's going to be able to make this work with the sale, and we just got to be patient here. Even a Minnesota nice sports fan's got to be a little fed up today. I think it's a bad look, and Bob Nightingale's reporting, if they really got talked into stuff like, $1.7 billion valuation of an organization, and you're making on-the-fly decisions, should we just get rid of, everybody? Okay, let's try that. Hey, Billy, craft that email. Make sure you do a good PR look on that. Do you care about the Twins organization still? Here's some votes coming in. 605-720-1067. 58% of the audience on the Nate Brown Show Twitter account. 58% of you say, no, my passion is fading. Not good. This is Twins country. 42% of you say, I'm still really invested. So you're hanging with them. 42% of you hanging with. Listener text, try being a Royals fan. Though we did win the World Series. Yeah, I mean, there was that was like a magical year. That was like a magical year. The Royals were good for what, a couple of years in there? I mean, they just had that run there. It's like, where did the Royals come from? And then it's boom, it's gone. That's the killer about baseball. You're either one of these teams that's in it, meaning Phillies, Dodgers, Mets. I mean, they're in it. They spend all the money, they're in it, or now the Twins are just like who? The Twins are just like the Pirates. They're just like the Reds. Nobody wants to hear that. That's where they're at today. Declan Goff is in the Twin Cities. He covers the Twins. What's his take on it? We'll go to him. ScoreNorth.com, live on the way.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch, with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's August 2027. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with zero regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
We welcome you to the Black Hills and the 85th Sturgis Rally. Shop Western South Dakota's largest selection of beer, wine, and spirits, plus collectible bottles of bourbon that include custom-edged Jack Daniel's single-barrel whiskey with the 85th Sturgis logo, Mount Rushmore, Devil's Tower, and more. Plus, the new store features the Campfire Bar, where you can enjoy a draft beer while you shop. Mr. Liquor has 2 locations to serve you, next to Walmart off Catron Boulevard, or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Looking for a great place for a pregame meal that really satisfies? Or maybe you want a place to take your all-star after the game. Or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV. Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service. Wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games. And the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show back on a Monday. Here we go. Let's kick off the week. Thanks for being here. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Great guest lineup tonight. We'll talk to Matt Zimmer coming up. Sioux Falls Live. Will Simmons joins us live. Harrisburg Gold Post 45 head coach. They win the Legion baseball title. Will Simmons, former Harrisburg pitcher. Now he's at North Carolina. He comes back. He helps out coach, and he gets the head coaching job late in the year. And Harrisburg goes on to run in the Legion baseball state championship, and they win it Saturday in Watertown. We'll talk to him as he gets set to go back to North Carolina to be on that pitching staff. That's coming up. Declan Goff's in tonight on the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota. Covers the Twins, the Vikings, and more. ScoreNorth.com. ScoreNorth.com. These guys do a good job. Declan, welcome in. How are you?
Nate, I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming on. So the reaction over the weekend, what are Twins fans saying this Monday after the big deal at the trade deadline? What are Twins fans saying, do you think?
Well, it's. I think they're still in a processing stage, even though we're 3 to 4 days now removed from the bloody trade deadline. The Twins were able to nuke about 40% of their roster. So, you know, they lost 2 out of 3 in Cleveland. They had to call up 8 guys from AAA. There's more shuffling basically still happening now. But I would say, even though it's been pent-up frustration for the better part of now, like the last year, I think you have Twins fans still trying to process what happened. It's probably, honestly, a good thing for morale that they are on the road for basically 3 more days before coming back home on Friday against Kansas City, because I think if they were to play immediately afterwards, I think it would have been even more shocking and more of a disapproval of the move. So I guess we'll see what happens at Target Field on Friday, but I think most fans are probably still in a processing stage.
Twins unload a lot of their players. They try and get something in return. So Bob Nightingale's been reporting on this, and I just want to know if I've had Bob on the show before. He's saying his source says the Astros were talking to the Twins. They went even deeper and said, man, you may want to just get rid of a lot of players if you're looking to sell this team and stuff. What do you think of that whole conversation that allegedly happened?
Yeah, it's a pretty wild situation because you have, and I don't doubt necessarily the validity of what Bob reported, who's one of the more plugged in reporters in all of baseball, and you have other local team reporters, and I guess people like myself who have only been covering the team in depthly for 2 years now, trying to figure out, number one, the sale process is a very complicated and hush-hush process. It's being handled by a firm. Obviously the Justin Ishbia thing that they thought they were going to have made them start all over again. There's the debt that's there. That's in the reported range about $400 million. It's kind of hard to believe. I was on the call with Derek Falvey and other reporters about 2 hours after the deadline. On Thursday, he reiterated the point that this all came from the Astros side in terms of the Carlos Correa trade I'm talking about. That all came from Dana Brown, their GM, and Carlos's willingness to waive his no-trade clause to one place, and that would be Houston. But at the same time, the Twins are only taking on 30% of that contract, and basically you could have just hit a random creative player to take back, and that's what they ended up doing. So it's hard not to put everything together when you move, 50, 60 million off your books. And obviously there's going to be arbitration guys next year, but right now Pablo Lopez and Byron Buxton are the only guys who are under contract that aren't arbitration-eligible players, basically, or pre-arbitration players next season. So it's pretty easy to put things together and assume that, hey, this trade deadline wasn't about just clearing house and getting in new players and prospects, but also maybe to clean up some of the books to make a transaction a little easier. Yeah, that's what I think it feels like. If you just look at it, it's $1.7 billion valuation they're trying to sell the team for, supposedly, and they're looking at it going, well,
do we want to make this a better sales team or a better team moving forward? Can you do both?
Yeah, and the other issue is when you trade away Correa, you trade away your entire bullpen essentially. The fans in Minnesota, at least locally, it's the anger against the Pohlads has never been as strong as it's been as strong as it's ever been. And the sooner they can get new owners, I do think you're going to see a surge of interest, not really from diehard Twins fans or season ticket holders, but more of the Minnesota sports fan who has essentially tuned them out, despite only less than 22 months ago, them winning their first playoff game and playoff series in 20-plus years. You have Minnesota fans that are very just ready for new ownership, and they'll do whatever it takes, to the point where, I mean, I'd say it's a little bit of hyperbole, but if Shohei Ohtani got here, it'd obviously be incredible. But at the end of the day, fans don't really have an interest in this product, and a lot of that comes from pent-up frustration from ownership. So the sooner I think that transition happens, I think the sooner you will see Target Field having a closer to, capacity crowd for majority of home games instead of only having a sellout crowd when the Cubs are in town and there's a post-game Nelly concert. So the sooner they get ownership and they make the transition happen, I think the better for them in the long term.
Declan Goff joining us. He's with ScoreNorth.com, covers the Twins. He's on Twitter, Dex's Tweets. That's where you can find him on X. I want to know if you think the Twins were that far away. They've invested in this team. And then it feels like I know they're not going to compete now, but it feels like they blow the whole thing up. Were they that far away in an AL Central moving forward?
Well, they had dug themselves basically a hole throughout and I'm going to use, I know it isn't necessarily that fair because a new season starts obviously in 2025, but over the last 162 games played going back to last year, I mean, they're a 70-win team. And even though in 23 they snapped their playoff streak, the division that year was obviously one of the worst divisions if not the worst division in baseball history. But they've also only comfortably been in the playoffs once in the last 5 seasons. So you can look at the core and understand that, okay, we believe in it, and we saw it in 2023, but if you are viewing yourselves as contenders and you're trying to go for it and gear up and surround talent around your prospects and around your star players like Correa and Buxton and Pablo Lopez, you shouldn't be missing the playoffs in 4 out of 5 years. So where I do somewhat side with the front office decision to blow it up and maybe try this again and retool some things here is I'm actually kind of proud of them for recognizing that, because even though it's easy to say, well, this team was so good 2 years ago and it's mostly been the same bones of a lot of the guys here, that team has not gotten it done, and they have one ALDS appearance to show for it. And it's hard enough, obviously, to keep up with, the Yankees and the Dodgers. I know they're in the National League, but you've essentially had, new teams competing in the AL Central for the last 4 years outside of the White Sox. So everyone else has been there, but no one has grabbed that division by the throat, basically. And the Twins had to recognize that, all right, let's sell some stuff off here, and then let's also try to retool and refix some things. And maybe in 2026, with the right moves with ownership and the right moves in free agency, it is totally possible this team could return to the playoffs again next season.
I don't know how the sale process is going to go and how long that's going to take, if they can get a buyer, the whole thing. How long is it going to take for Twins fans to get back interested and passionate about this team that a lot of people love?
Yeah, it's kind of a A plus B equals C thing. Forget my St. Cloud State math there, but you essentially need the new ownership group to come in immediately. That will draw excitement. What can't happen, though, is if the new ownership group comes in, and let's just call it October 1st. I have no inkling that it's that close, but let's just say it's the end of the season, early into the off season. And then once free agency and the off season truly begin post-World Series time, if there's investments made in this team, like we just detailed, there's only 2 guys before arbitration contracts come up that are under contract for next year. If they're big-time spenders or if they're very aggressive in the trade market, getting in players to make this team better. I think it's possible you do see teams, or do see this fan base, I should say, come back and flock to this team. You know, there's something about spring training and even opening day that is always an exciting time in any sport, whether you're a diehard baseball fan or a sports fan, that does get some excitement going. So if the new ownership group comes in, they prove they can spend and invest into the team, I do think that you're going to see fans potentially come in waves again, just like it was when Target Field opened 15 years ago. But that's also that's a lot of assumptions on my end. I recognize that, but I do think it's possible that you'll see Minnesota sports fans potentially buying back into this team sooner than later with new ownership.
Last one for Declan Goff, ScoreNorth.com. What's going to happen the rest of the season, last 2 months here, with fans? You said, hey, we'll find out, I guess, Friday. I'm wondering, if I'm in Minneapolis, I'm in Sioux Falls, why would I want to come to these games now?
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, obviously Byron Buxton's having an incredible season. I know he was banged up, and right now he is. But I'm actually curious on some of these younger guys they got in. Luke Keeschall, it sounds like he joined the club in Detroit. I don't think he's going to be active for tonight, but he's ready to be activated off the injured list. He had an electric start to his major league career before breaking his arm. There's still some pieces here that I think are really interesting. Joe Ryan is still one of the best pitchers in baseball, and I would hope, honestly, even with the fire sale that took place, that it's actually a Joe Ryan extension this offseason and not a trade to keep, again, the team competitive and still not completely stripping everything down. But it's a tough sell. And look, we're entering the heart of Vikings training camp, and the season is a month away. So, I mean, there's always the conflicting things, but yeah, it's unless you're a family and you're looking, just to enjoy a ball game, or maybe you're a bunch of guys, looking to come into town, or you're in downtown Minneapolis, the baseball team is second. We have the St. Paul Saints here in St. Paul, and they're now the AAA team, but fun is good was always their motto, and everyone kind of knew the baseball on the field pre the AAA move came second, and it was about the environment and the atmosphere. And unfortunately, even though the Twins have a beautiful ballpark and on a nice summer night, it really is one of the best spots to be around the Twin Cities, it's going to be real tough for fans, I think, to get back into this team.
I wonder what happens. I don't know how many fans show up. It'll be interesting to watch. Twins let go of a lot of players and trying to get this team sold. A lot to cover, and Declan Goff's on it. Follow him, ScoreNorth.com. Covers the Twins and more. Declan, good to have you, man. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks, Nate. I appreciate it, man.
Appreciate your time. Declan Goff, he's with ScoreNorth.com. That's a good podcast. Twins, Vikings, and more. Again, ScoreNorth.com. Twins analyst Declan Goff also getting set for Viking season. This is a tough sell here. That's why I said even in baseball. It's like when your team does this now, well, I mean, what do you do? When your team does this, you go, all right, what's next? School starting for the kids, or not much left? Listener text coming in. Let's see. Former GM for the Twins, Terry Ryan, made a good point by saying the Twins front office people probably think they might not have a job next season if there are new owners. But I'm a Twins fan, and I'm fine with what the front office did. I'm just upset with the Pohlad family because they don't care anymore. That's a big part of it, though, is when ownership you think doesn't care, you got a big, big problem. Your fans want owners to care, and I'm convinced that I think there's a lot of owners in Major League Baseball that don't care. What I mean by winning, competing. I think there's a lot of owners in Major League Baseball that don't care. Is there like 10 that care? There's a lot that don't care, honestly. They care about the pocketbook, and then this one smells like that. Well, let's just get rid of everybody. Well, we need to get players. Yeah, let's get rid of everybody. Slash payroll, let's make this thing work a little better. That's what it smells like. Matt Zimmer's joining us next. South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. Let's talk FCS. A little bit of Twins. Zim's a Twins guy. What does he say? SiouxFallsLive.com sports reporter next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Hey, deal hunters, the shelves are loaded and our prices won't be beat at Fleet Farm. Get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic oil for just $21.99 after $5 rebate. Take 30% off all Eukanuba dog foods. And all Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch 2X spray paints are buy one, get one 50% off. From pets to paints to pickups, let Fleet Farm help take care of all your day-to-day needs. Always at the best prices, guaranteed. And check out all our weekly deals at fleetfarm.com.
White or wheat, classic or old-fashioned, with or without sesame seed. With so many choices, selecting the right bun for your perfectly grilled burgers, hot dogs, and brats can seem overwhelming. Relax. The bakers at Village the Midwest, our buns are baked and delivered by folks just like you. So when you see the familiar red Village Hearth logo on the package, you'll be selecting the freshest, most flavorful buns available. Village Hearth buns, baked locally, delivered fresh daily.
Tin Lizzy BetMGM Sportsbook is your home for the best sports betting experience in South Dakota. They have great food, great service, and great 4K TVs. There's not a bad seat in the house. And every game is on at Tin Lizzy. Bet on your favorite teams and watch the game, have a cold one, and enjoy summer in the Black Hills. BetMGM Sportsbook at Tin Lizzy, the king of sportsbooks. What game are you betting on? Make your play at Tin Lizzy, Main Street, Deadwood.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
Hey golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
Host your next big event at the Box Elder Event Center, now featuring all new lighting, enhanced sound, and cutting-edge AV. Your destination for conventions, conferences, weddings, tournaments, concerts, and private parties of all kinds. Plus, their gourmet catering isn't just for on-site events, they'll deliver straight to you. Don't miss the Pickle Boo Pickleball Tournament October 24th to 26th, and Fall Hoop Fest November 7th to 9th. Learn more and book today at thebox.live.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio tonight across South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We're ready to go. Full week. Let's go tonight. Will Simmons coming up as a guest next hour. Hang on. He's the Harrisburg alum who is coaching at Harrisburg, and he takes over the head job here later in the year. And Harrisburg just went on to win the Legion baseball title. They win the state title. They went in with a losing record. And the Harrisburg Gold Post 45 wins the state championship. Will Simmons, who pitches for North Carolina, he's going to join us coming up. Well, here's a guy you don't have to worry about catching at a Coldplay concert, I don't think. Hey, take it easy. I mean, he's a music fan, but let's be careful. Matt Zimmer, he is in tonight. SiouxFallsLive.com. Sports writer, getting busy now. He covered that state Legion baseball championship on Saturday. He's been out at SDSU. He's been at USD. He's been going. Matt, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. How are you?
I'm good. So, Coldplay fan or no Coldplay fan?
I'm not a fan of their music. I am a fan of how they expose cheating CEOs. And
okay, there you go.
I'll leave it at that.
A little double hit. All right. Let me get your read on a few things. I'll start a little baseball. You were covering that state title that Harrisburg just won, and Legion baseball is not as big of a thing East River as West River. I think that's fair to say. But Harrisburg's now won 2 out of the last 3 state titles. What did you think of their run here?
They got a really good program going there. As you know, it's a little more fractured over here because of, Sioux Falls has the Legion post-15 teams, but then you've got these other travel teams, or whatever you want to call them, elite teams, the Sioux Falls Cyclones, and there have been some other ones. So not all of the best players play in Sioux Falls, but Harrisburg does have a nice, it's Legion, but it's still kind of affiliated with the Tigers, so to speak. And it's run by Chris Regas and Cole Zimmerman, 2 guys I know real well. Chris pitched for the Canaries, reaching as high as AAA. Cole was a baseball and football player for NDSU who played pro baseball. And those guys are just 2 guys who, great people to have running a baseball program. They teach those kids, it's kind of a feeder program. It starts young and they work their way up, and they're in that same Harrisburg program the whole way with Chris and Cole kind of overseeing it. And it's no surprise that they're having success. It's no surprise that that's a program that parents want their kids to get involved in because they're going to get really good coaching and really good training. And you saw that this week. I mean, obviously Eli Kokenge is going to go pitch for the Gophers, but Kason Severson, the starting pitcher in the championship game, he's going to Augie. A bunch of other really good players on that team. The championship game was an incredibly well-played game. I mean, it looked like a college or minor league game just in how crisp it was. The pitchers threw hard. They threw strikes. There were hardly any defensive mistakes. A low-scoring 2-0 game. Really good baseball. Yankton was a worthy challenger, but I think Harrisburg, the way they rolled through that tournament at 5-0, it was impressive.
You've been a baseball guy for a while, and you followed the baseball scene in the state. Is it fair to say, whether it's Harrisburg or Renner won before, have they caught up to the great post-22? Is that fair to say now?
I don't think I can say that necessarily. I'm not as privy to what's going on out in Rapid City. I mean, I still think everyone still regards post-22 as the gold standard, I think 320 getting their program going and establishing it to where it's a legitimate second team out there probably cuts into it a little bit, but I think also it probably makes Legion Baseball in Rapid City stronger overall. You mentioned it. I mean, it is a little bit different out there, however you want to word it, I guess, but 22 is always, I think, going to be the standard. I mean, what if they won 40 state championships or something? I mean, I think the kids still get fired up to play them. I think the hard hats are still kind of a thing that everyone is just synonymous with baseball greatness in South Dakota. And other programs at different times have risen up to challenge them. The Sioux Falls programs had some runs, and now Harrisburg's got one. Renner, Brandon, some other good programs. But I still think it kind of always runs through post-22.
Matt Zimmer on tonight, covered the Harrisburg Gold State Championship. They won the Legion title on Saturday in Watertown. SiouxFallsLive.com, his story up there. Let's go to college football. You've been popping around. You were at SDSU, I saw last week. Chase Mason, just first perception here. I'll ask you, have you seen a lot, and what does he look like?
I mean, he looks like Chase Mason, a freak athlete with an incredible arm. I've only been to the one practice so far, but, he made a couple throws where you go, man, how is this guy not playing in the Big Ten or the SEC? And you see the athleticism. I mean, Kalen DeBoer is the coach of Alabama, and he recruited Chase and when he was at Fresno State. And Kalen told me Chase is, as good an athlete as some of the guys he sees in the SEC. So all the tools are there, obviously. The question is going to be how he puts it together and how consistent he is and how accurate he is and how well he, takes on that leadership role that Mark Gronowski left. And I don't think we're going to know until they start playing games. Practices are always going to have some highs and lows, some good moments, some not so good moments. But, even a guy throws an interception in practice, everyone kind of freaks out about, he threw an interception. But, who knows what the circumstances were that leads to that. So, I just think what's important for him right now is that he's getting all those reps. In previous years, he was getting reps with the twos or trying to get as many reps as he could with the ones whenever Mark Gronowski would step out. His offense now, he's getting all those reps. He looks great physically. He's healthy. So, again, looks the part, but we're not going to know, what kind of QB1 he truly is until they start playing games.
How did it feel out there at a Dan Jackson practice as opposed to Jimmy Rogers, as opposed to Coach Stig? They all come from the same tree there. What did it feel like when you were there?
Yeah, it really hasn't changed a ton through any of that. They've always run practices in what I would call a loose but business-like manner. There isn't a lot of screaming and yelling. There isn't a lot of swearing. Everyone out there, it seems to be enjoying themselves, having fun, but they're not goofing off either. Jimmy Rogers is obviously a much more intense person and personality than John Stiegelmeier was, and you sense that a little bit. Jimmy, I think, ran a little bit of a tighter ship just as far as he wanted to kind of know exactly what was going on everywhere. He was keeping a little closer tabs on the media when they were out there covering, making sure that he was involved in every aspect of the team. And that included how he observed his players. Now, Dan comes in, and Dan's, I don't want to say he's a cross between Stig and Jimmy, because that's not really correct, but he's certainly more laid back than Jimmy was. But obviously not the sort of grandfatherly personality that Stig was. Dan admitted to me that the first day, was still kind of some first-day jitters a little bit, that even though they had spring ball, this was the first day where he really felt like, okay, this is real. I'm coaching the Jackrabbits, and where he figures out, sort of where to be during practice. Because, if you're a first-time head coach, before you've always had a position. You're always with a certain group of guys. Now you got to sort of figure out, how do I coach an entire team at once? Where do I go? Where do I stand? Who do I watch? Who do I talk to? What do I tell my assistants to do? So you're learning those things. And from that aspect, you can sort of see everyone just doing their job and Dan observing it. The one thing a few players have told me is that, sometimes Jimmy's intensity was a little intimidating, and that having Dan come in and sort of wipe the slate clean has, put everyone just a little bit at ease, a chance for get some fresh eyes on them, get some, new, unbiased, I guess, observations of them, and they like that, having a chance to get a little bit of a fresh start. Not in any way a shot at Jimmy, but just like, hey, there's some new coaches in here. Right. I get a little bit of a clean slate here to start over with.
Yeah, I believe that. Who turned your head there? Anybody turn your head as a player? You go, wow, look out.
Yeah, lots of them. I mean, and that makes sense when you think about what happened in the transfer portal. I mean, they had to bring in a bunch of guys, and a lot of the guys they brought in are, from Big Ten programs. The first guy that caught my eye was Julius Lowridge, the running back transfer from Fordham. He's a preseason All-American without ever having played at SDSU, but, I think he's had 3,000-yard seasons at the FCS level already. He's a physically mature guy. He looks old. He's cut, just in incredible shape. He looks like he kind of has that Emmitt Smith sort of build. Looks like a guy who would not be fun to tackle. He's obviously going to be the starting tailback, especially now with the passing of Nate White. His role is going to be even bigger, and he certainly looks ready for it. The wide receiver room, I feel bad for the wide receiver coach. I don't know how he's going to figure that out. They've got literally 7, 8, 9 guys that look like they are starting caliber wide receivers. I don't know how they're going to figure out who's going to, even be the 3 or 4 guys in the lineup, let alone who's going to get all the catches. It's going to be so competitive throughout practice as far as that goes. And then on defense, there's a lot of new faces, but I was really struck by, in particular, the linebacking group, just how many really good players there are there. Not a lot of them have played that much, at least for SDSU, but it's a really, really deep group.
Matt Zimmer on tonight talking Jacks. He was there, SiouxFallsLive.com sports reporter. Really quick, and I'll get your read on USD later. Really quick, Twins, what do you say about your Minnesota Twins?
Very, very frustrating. I wasn't upset about the fire sale. All those guys that were on expiring contracts, why wouldn't you trade them? The Willie Castros and Harrison Baders, and you can, if you want them back next year, you can get them back. And even trading Duran and Jax, guys who had a couple of years of control left. Okay, if you think you're getting a big return for them, that I understand. And the Carlos Correa trade makes a ton of sense because he's not earning his contract right now. So nothing that happened right now, this week, in a vacuum really bothers me. What bothers me is the fact that 3 years ago, they signed Carlos Correa, and it was supposed to be this watershed moment for the franchise, that they're finally, swimming in the deep waters with the other large market teams and saying, hey, we're going to spend money, we're going to go get players, we're going to try to win. And Correa immediately makes them, not that it's just him, but they start winning games. A couple of years ago, it was actually the year that he was banged up all year and had a bad year, but they make to the playoffs. He has a great playoff series. They finally snap their playoff winning streak, and it's like, okay, the window of contention is just opening, right? And they turn around the next year and say, as it turns out, we don't want to do this. And they refuse to spend any money, which makes Carlos Correa completely redundant. If you're not going to try and build around him, why would you sign a guy and pay him that much money to begin with? So while I understand trading Correa, and it's probably a good move for their current situation, it's just so frustrating to know that they went out and got this marquee free agent, and it was supposed to be the dawn of this new era, and then it ends in such a deflating way with him going back to Houston. He's going to go there and probably win another World Series at some point, and the Twins are going to rebuild again, and obviously everyone's waiting for the sale of the team, and we'll see what happens then. But in the short term, in the right now, I don't remember it ever being, morale being this low from probably the front office to the players to certainly to the fans.
Do you think the owners care about winning?
Not really. I really don't, and I never would have said that before. I thought when Jim Pohlad owned the team, I thought he did a pretty good job. I think he tried as hard as he could. I think when Joe Pohlad took over a couple of years ago, it sure appears that he's in way over his head. And the thing that is so ridiculous to me is he justifies all his moves by saying, well, we don't have enough revenue. Like, I have to right-size the payroll or whatever. He seems to have it in his head that the fans owe it to him to turn out in droves, create a bunch of revenue for him, and then he turns around and spends it on the team. What other business operates that way, Nate?
Yeah.
What restaurant says, come to our restaurant and give us a bunch of money, and then we'll start serving good food? It doesn't work that way. You spend the money, you build a winning team, and guess what? If you want to make more money, put a winning team on the field, and you'll make more money. It's mind-boggling to me that seems to escape him or escape them, or that's the company line that they're trotting out. And I cannot wait for that family's name to no longer be atop the franchise's masthead.
Matt Zimmer tonight. We'll end it there. Catch him at Sioux Falls Live. You know that, SiouxFallsLive.com. Matt J. Zimmer on X. Always appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
You bet, Nate. See ya.
Thanks a lot. Matt Zimmer tonight on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Find him, sports writer for Sioux Falls Live. Does a good job. Puts in some work, covers some college, a little Legion. Got in some fishing. I didn't even ask him about his fishing. I mean, amazing. Matt J. Zimmer on Twitter. He's in tonight on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. One more example of why Major League Baseball needs to do this. You can argue with me or not. The Twins are a perfect example. I'll explain next.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch, with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's August 2027. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with zero regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
The peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True, and you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Remember when life was simple? Nope, me neither. The summer sun may feel great to us, but summer heat takes its toll on your vehicle. Don't risk your family's vacation fun by ignoring vehicle maintenance. When it comes to your vehicle maintenance or repair, keeping it simple is easy. The ASE certified technicians at Al's D&I can make sure your car is in top running condition. Maintenance now or fix it later. Most vehicles, most years, and most countries. Al's D&I can fix them. Check in at Al's D&I on Sturgis Road and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. Hope you're having a nice Monday. Can Mondays be nice? They're okay. They're okay. Welcome in. Hope you're having a nice Monday drive home. You're into the drive home. I hope so. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. The Nate Brown Show is on. Thanks for being here. Text line for you if you want in on the show, 605-720-1067. Listener text line, 605-720-1067. A couple of great guests next hour. Hang on. Harrisburg's head coach who won the Legion baseball title, a young guy, 21 years old. He's a Carolina pitcher right now for the Tar Heels. He coaches in the summer here at Harrisburg. Will Simmons just took over later in the year, and Harrisburg wins the state Legion title. We'll talk to Will coming up about his coaching and his college career as a junior at North Carolina. Brian Noe's going to kick off the week. The No Show is on tonight. You bet. I got to get his sound off on the Cowboys and Micah Parsons. Only Brian Noe can tell me. Okay, perfect example here. I've asked the question of the day for you. How passionate are you about the Minnesota Twins now? How passionate are you? We even have a Twins banner in the studio. I mean, we know what we're doing here. It's Twins country. I'm a Cubs fan. Grew up with Harry Carey, WGN, so I'm living and breathing that. But this is Twins country. There's been a heyday. You know, the World Series, the Kirby Pucketts, the Kent Herbecks, the Dan Gladdens, all of this great time. Jack Morris's, and now the Twins have traded all their players. They're rebuilding from the start. And my question of the day, do you care as much about the Twins now? Do you care as much about the Twins? This is for Twins fans, so I'm offering it up to you. 605-720-1067. The Barons Wilson text line. Question of the day, do you care about the Twins as much anymore? 57% of the audience is voting on Twitter. No, my passion is fading. That's tough. I mean, we're emotional. We're emotional right now. Twins getting rid of their players, entering rebuild mode, entering sale mode. And people are like, where are the Twins going? Matt Zimmer's been a lifelong Twins fan. He said this is the lowest he can remember. The lowest he can remember when it comes to morale. 43% of you say you're still really invested in the Twins. So there's a There's a chunk of fans who say you sell this team and then everybody's going to be excited again, right? I do believe that. But here's the example of Major League Baseball, where you can't have teams like this in the league. Teams that totally give up, totally can't compete, and so they just mail it in. And a league can't have that. I'm just looking through the standings tonight, and I can name these teams off for you. Who doesn't care? You have to have a salary floor. What does that mean? A certain salary that every team has to reach. And it can be conservative, but it's got to be better than the Marlins. Okay? So you got to have a salary floor for every team and a salary cap for every team. Get the lawyers together and work that thing out, because the league, you can't have teams like the Twins mailing it in. Athletics, White Sox, Rockies, Nationals. I mean, these guys, they just don't care. And so how can you have a professional sports organization in a major city and they don't care? Fans know they don't care. And so the structure of Major League Baseball is they allow you can just mail it in. You don't have to, you can rebuild. The Twins can have whatever payroll they want. Can you imagine? They could have whatever payroll they want. They could roll it out there with $50 million. They could do it just like the Marlins. And you can't have competitive league where the Dodgers are spending this and the Marlins and the Twins are spending this. I mean, you just can't have that. So I know it's easy for me to say right here on South Dakota Sports Talk Show, but how hard is that for these? I mean, what do these billionaires, what do these owners think when they get together, when they're having a weekend? Well, what do they talk about this weekend? They're talking about how much money they can't lose. They're not talking about how can we make this team competitive and the Twin Cities can take pride in the Twins again. Well, let's do what we have to do. Let's make some investments here. These teams are talking about how much money they can't lose. I mean, it's just a long list. Pirates, Athletics, White Sox, Twins, Rockies. Just a total mess. And Major League Baseball thinks it's all good. We're doing fine. The seasons are over. They've been over for a long time. Salary floor, salary cap. It's a must-have. Must-have. Okay, listener text coming in. Let's see. Listener text, I feel bad for Twins fans. They traded 10 of their big league players, the lowest I think their fandom has been since the contraction talks in the 90s. Yeah, Matt Zimmer just joined us. He's a big Twins fan. I'm not a Twins homer, so I'm just looking at it objectively. It's a mess. I said it reminds me of the Cubs bailing on their World Series nucleus. Didn't quite get this bad. I mean, the Cubs didn't quite go down this road, but we had a World Series title, and then we got rid of all these guys. That was kind of a tough one for me, but I knew Chicago being a big market and the whole thing, going to try and get back in it. And the Twins, what's it going to take? They're trying to sell the team, so this is kind of no man's land. This is no man's land. And when you have a league that doesn't make you spend a certain amount of money, it's gone. The fan base has to be just totally frustrated. Listener text, I'm a Braves fan, and they're bad right now. They didn't ship everyone out. Yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting you say that. Really disappointing season for the Braves. 47 wins. They thought they were going to be in the mix for this thing. 47 wins for the Braves. And they're still trying to hang in this thing. So interesting point. When I say hang in this thing, not this year. They're not going to blow the whole thing up. That appears to be the case. Listener text, which fan base has it worse, Rockies or Twins? That's a tough question of the day. Maybe we'll spin that one tomorrow. That's a tough question of the day. Good one, though. Who provided that? Matt Kearney. Thank you. Producer of the Nate Brown Show. He's always up to something. Which fan base has it worse? What a fine Monday. Who sucks worse, the Twins or the Rockies? Well, anyway, have a good day. Okay. Should I be concerned about something that I've noticed in Sioux Falls sports? So I just noticed this the last, month and a half. Should I be concerned about this when it comes to Sioux Falls sports? We'll discuss, see what you think next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch, with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's August 2027. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with zero regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
16 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
Chatting with Brian at Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. Boy, summer is flying by.
That it is, and while it's still here, we'll keep your rig in tip-top shape for the last few road trips of the season.
Being a AAA and ASC certified shop, I know you guys are well equipped to do just that.
Yes, sir. We're here to take care of all your automotive needs. So from oil changes, batteries, tires, to cooling systems and AC charges and repairs, and basically any automotive repair issue, we're your answer.
Nothing like one-stop shopping.
That's our goal. Plus, we carry over 50 brand name tires and have deals as good as anywhere. And simply the best brake deal around at just $399 per axle for most vehicles, including pads, rotors, labor, and a lifetime warranty as long as you own the rig.
And I'll say it again, that's one incredible brake deal.
It sure is. So come see us to keep living a happy and affordable motoring life.
Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, everybody. The place to trust. Your complete AAA and ASC certified automotive repair specialist. See AnytimeAnytime.com and at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales. One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Hey, welcome in. Second hour, ready to go on a Monday South Dakota Sports Talk Show. It is always a great day in South Dakota. How are you? Thanks for being here, making this show possible on Fox Sports Radio across the state. The Nate Brown Show is on. And who is on tonight? Brian Noe's going to join us. I have to get Brian on a Monday. Whenever you get Cowboys talk, Brian Noe is the guy I want to hear from. He hosts Countdown, covers the NFL and more on Fox Sports Radio. Countdown host Brian Noe in from Vegas tonight. We'll talk a little Raiders as well. We got some things going. Brian Noe's coming in. Then we'll go South Dakota baseball. Will Simmons, Harrisburg, post-45 gold head coach. They just won the State Legion baseball title onto the Central Plains Regional. Will Simmons, a former Harrisburg pitcher, also now at North Carolina. Do you know this guy's story? 21-year-old guy and coaching here in the summer, and he wins the Legion baseball title. He took over as head coach here late in the year. So we'll talk to him. Coming up, Will Simmons says he's getting set to go back to North Carolina there, pitching in the ACC. So some good guests on a Monday. If you want to be a part of the show, if you don't know, you can get in on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. It's 605-720-1067. That's your line into the program. Barron's Wilson text line, another way you can be a part of the show. Text the show, 605-720-1067. Listener text on the Twins' reaction from the trade deadline. Shipping off their players. Listener text, who's in worse shape? Twins or Rockies? Twins and Rockies fans need to vote with their feet. Stay away from the ballpark. Force the owner's hand to spend money. Well, it's just never, it doesn't work because they just whine and cry. The Rockies, they just whine and cry, and then enough fans go in Coors Field too. The Twins' attendance has not been good, right? Target Field's been down this year, so it hasn't been good. They just whine and cry, we're going to sell the team. Yeah, we have debt. We got so much debt. We're struggling. We own a Major League Baseball team. I know we got into real estate, too, and all that stuff, but no, don't worry about that. These owners want to make money. They're not worried about winning. They are not. I'm going to go down and say it. 10 owners are worried about winning, maybe, in Major League Baseball. And it's the structure of the league why they can get away with it. Because you don't have to spend money. There's no salary floor. There's no salary cap. So the small market teams can whine and cry, and we just can't do it. And then they get one big player like Carlos Correa, and we're going to do this. Then they go downhill. This is just 2 years ago. They won a postseason series finally. And 2 years later, here in 2025, they're mailing in the whole organization. It's just wild. Wild. Okay. Let me get to something here in South Dakota sports that I noticed. So I'm in the sports media business, as you all know, okay? Really enjoy covering South Dakota sports. Try and invest in covering high school sports. Try and do the best job we can providing local coverage of baseball, of basketball, of football. We've done soccer. So I'm in that business. And I couldn't tell you exactly what does it cost? What's the investment in that business? And then what's the bottom line and the whole thing? The thing is to cover community South Dakota sports, highlight local athletes and schools, and the pride of high school sports is something big in South Dakota. That's why I do that. Here's something I noticed the last month. And I don't know where this is at. I'm not sure what direction they're going, but this is for everybody listening in the East River area. The Sioux Falls Argus Leader. This is a big-time newspaper. It's been really, really good. Really good. I know guys that have worked, they're outstanding, right? The Sioux Falls Argus Leader hasn't had a sports reporter for a month and a half. Coming up on 2 months here. So I'm thinking about this going, is the Argus Leader going to have a sports reporter? You got high school sports starting right now. The first soccer games are next weekend. So this is high school sports season. This is college football season. And the Sioux Falls Argus Leader, who had an Argus Leader sports department, and I know it's back in the day. I know I'm crusty and old. I understand, but that was the heyday. It had a sports department, some great writers over the years. The Sioux Falls Argus Leader doesn't have a sports reporter for almost 2 months now. And the reason I have a little bit of concern about that, they've only had one person covering sports for, 5 years now? Like you go back like 5 years, probably somewhere in there, 5-6 years, where they're like, well, we had a couple, and then we're down to one. We're going to keep it one, and I couldn't tell you. Is it going to go to 0? I couldn't tell you. I don't know, but I just know I haven't seen a sports reporter. Not sure if they're trying to fill the jobs. Probably kind of tough to do. It's not anybody's, like, oh, this person's fault or that person's fault. It's just the structure of sports coverage now with big media companies is few and far between. And it reminds me, it's like, what can we try to do to not spend money? It reminds me of that, like the Twins in Major League Baseball. That's what it feels like to me. So I don't know if the Argus Leader is going to bring in a sports writer. What if they didn't? So this is for everybody. I mean, West River people and East River, you always kind of follow the Argus Leader. They had some great things, the Elite 45. I mean, they had some good stuff, right, in South Dakota sports coverage. And it's dwindled, and then it's down to like one person, and they got to cover high school. They got to cover college. And I'm asking, what if the Argus Leader, I'm just asking, what if they didn't have a sports reporter in the market of Sioux Falls? I mean, that would be something. That would be something. Would that be a big problem? How important is it in today's new world where, well, we're on our phones, we kind of get this update and that quick hit. We don't. Do we need a sports reporter now? It's Sioux Falls. Where's the local sports coverage? I mean, this is the premier newspaper. And I don't know if they're going to bring in a sport. My guess is they're trying to bring in at least one, I would think. How important is it for the Argus Leader? This is a market of Sioux Falls to have a designated local sports reporter. I'm just asking you as a consumer. Because I follow this stuff. I'm in it. Has the world changed so much that we don't even need a local sports reporter now covering games on a Friday night? That's something. Let me ask you that question of the day. You tell me. 605-720-1067, our text line. The poll question, I put it up on Twitter. Here's some responses. Those days are long gone, Patrick. Patrick says, of having local sports? Not for me. That's what I'm saying. I just hired a broadcaster to cover the State Legion baseball tournament. And it wasn't because I was like, wow, we're gonna make a mint off this. Well, no, you have to do stuff like that. You should do stuff like that. Covering local sports still matters, right? Those days are long gone. Listener text, evidently not very important to them. How important is it? He says, evidently not very important to them. Well, I don't know. We'll just see. This is something I had my eye on there that popped up. It's like, wait, there's no sports reporter at the Argus Leader, and there hasn't been one. What's next? 77% of you are voting. You have to have one. 77% say have to have one. 23% have voted you don't need one, even at the Argus Leader. You don't need one. That's 23%. That seems like a high number to me. Listener text, it's AI, Nate. AI is our newspaper reporters now. He's right. Do you know this? He's right. AI is like writing sports articles based on like Game Changer. Like you could get a AI sports article after a game. Are we okay with that? Well, yeah, I guess it does the same thing, right? We don't need any stories about the coaches or the kids or any features like that, right? Let's take a quick call. Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Super Nate. How are you Monday afternoon today?
I'm good. What's up, man?
Hey, I didn't even know who won the American Legion State Tournament until you just told me a few minutes ago.
Youch.
I get my sports information from you, bud.
All right.
You're my guy.
I try. I mean, I can't do it all. You know that, but I try.
You do a good job, and I did listen to the broadcasts of the games.
Okay.
But once the two local teams were gone, there was
sure
no interest by me, and I think it's just the wave of the future.
Isn't that something? I mean, it's still important.
It's kind of sad because you ain't got a lot of local kids around here that maybe won't get some press that, it'd be kind of cool for them to get.
I agree with you. It is the days are changing for the worse,
but even,
I have to say.
Even like on Friday nights, it's hard to. I go to your website to find football scores.
Yeah,
because I can't find them anywhere else.
I'll leave it to Matt Kearney, man. He'll be ready.
Well, but and the other frustrating part is you get notices of this in the Argus Leader or this in the local paper here, and you click on it and go, oh, you need a subscription. Oh. It's like, okay, forget it.
Right.
I'm not doing it.
No, I got you. Yeah, I got you on that. That's a good point.
And that's why there's no sports reporters either. So
I got you on that.
Want to pay for it.
I appreciate you. No, I appreciate it.
Right.
Thanks for getting in. That's a good point. That is a good point. And then people say, well, we got to pay for, you get what you pay for. Well, and then it's like, do I really need to read that story that bad? Probably not, because I'll just try and find it here. What a world. Will the Argus Leader have a sports reporter? The Nate Brown Show is on it. No, I mean, I'm serious. It's like, huh? Sioux Falls? Maybe no local sports reporter? I guess we'll see. Haven't had one for almost 2 months. Brian Noe is on next. Fox Sports Radio coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Hey, Sioux Falls sports fans, there's a great new sports bar in Sioux Falls, Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar on West Russell Street in the Ramada Water Park Hotel. If you want to watch games, UFC, they've got it, wall-to-wall TVs, and the best part, great food. Gourmet pizza at Boston's, tons of wing options, great burgers, and a lot more. Bring the family, bring the team, bring your crew to the new Boston's Restaurant and Sports Bar in Sioux Falls on West Russell Street. Plus, you can order online for lunch or dinner. Just go to bostons.com.
Unlock big savings and add style and security to your home with high-quality Schlage door locks from Menards. Whether you're looking for a traditional interior lock or a Wi-Fi compatible electronic lock, Menards has you covered. With more than 200 options of Schlage door locks in stock. Save big on all door locks. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
There's summer, and then there's Murphy's in the summer. Nothing beats it. The food, the drinks, the atmosphere. Whether you're soaking up sunshine on the patio or hanging inside with friends, Murphy's brings the good vibes all season long. Amazing food, cold beers, summer cocktails, live music on the patio, a crew that treats you right, and yes, even a late-night menu every Friday and Saturday night. When you're thinking summer in Rapid City, there's only one move, Murphy's. Visit murphyspubandgrill.com. Murphy's, a Rapid City icon.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Slight chance of severe thunderstorms. Tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Lows of a lot around 63. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 91. Lows of a lot around 63. Tomorrow night, mainly clear skies. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 83 degrees.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Both Mr. Liquor Stores in Rapid City welcome you to the Black Hills and the 85th Sturgis Rally. Shop Western South Dakota's largest selection of beer, wine, and spirits, plus collectible bottles of bourbon that include custom-etched Jack Daniel's single-barrel whiskey with the 85th Sturgis logo, Mount Rushmore, Devil's Tower, and more. Plus, the new store features the Campfire Bar, where you can enjoy a draft beer while you shop. Mr. Liquor has 2 locations to serve you, next to Walmart off Catron Boulevard or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet buys cars. You heard that right. We don't just sell cars, we buy them too. We make cash offers to purchase local cars, trucks, and SUVs every day. Tired of listing online? Tired of messages? Or just tired of making payments? Whatever the reason, make an appointment at rapidchevrolet.com for a no-obligation appraisal. It's fast and free. When you're ready to sell, we're ready to buy. At Danny Menholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Welcome in. Great guest lineup tonight from South Dakota to the pros. We got you covered. Hit the Nate Brown Show podcast. If you missed some of the show, search the Nate Brown Show, and you'll find this podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. You can listen on demand. You've got us. We had Matt Zimmer on first hour. Good stuff from Sioux Falls Live. Declan Goff was in from the Twin Cities. Covers the Minnesota Twins, who are quite the form. ScoreNorth.com. Twins analyst. Also, Brian Noe is in tonight. Well, we got to start the week with Brian Noe. Why not? I mean, somebody tell me. Fox Sports Radio's host of Countdown. Brian, welcome in. How are you?
I'm great, Nate Brown. It's good to be with you, buddy. You know, I just had a dog visitor just now. You know, it's always good to have a dog visitor every now and then. You know, you're starting with me on a Monday. I started with a dog visit on Monday,
Okay, that's not bad. That puts you in a good mood, so I'm happy for that. I'm going to go Cowboys. I said, I want to know what Brian Noe has to say about the Cowboys, because you told me about some of these other contracts with the Bengals, people like this. You're like, these owners, they can't screw this up. They just got to, get this stuff done. So what about Jerry Jones? Is he screwing this up with Micah Parsons, who now wants to be traded?
Yeah, this is just what the Cowboys do. They make it unnecessarily difficult. They make it unnecessarily dramatic. I don't know what Jerry Jones' deal is. He loves the attention, loves the spotlight, loves the headlines. And it gets in the way of winning. It's just unnecessary drama. And here we go again, another installment of it. This one's a little bit different because Micah Parsons publicly asked for a trade. And you didn't have CeeDee Lamb or Dak Prescott or Zach Martin. The list goes on and on and on. But this is just standard operating procedure for the Cowboys, making it unnecessarily difficult. And it shouldn't have gotten to this point. It's just cost them money. It's cost them, focus. They should be focusing on the right stuff. They should be focusing and heading in the right direction. Instead, they're wasting time and energy on this contract dispute. They're going to sign him. He's going to get his money. And we're going to look back and be like, what was all of this for? Like, why did you drag it out and just cost yourself more money and more time and energy in the long run? But that's exactly what's going to happen here.
This has been turning. I mean, I was following it over the weekend. Des Bryantson on this, and then like singers or something. I mean, it's like, what is? I don't know what's going on here. This thing has taken too many twists and turns. So you said it's going to cost you more money. So really, why doesn't Jerry Jones just realize, hey, we gotta sew this up. Let's get this thing done. I can't figure it out. Maybe Jerry doesn't care, but I don't know.
I don't know either. That's the thing. You can't make sense out of nonsense. It doesn't make sense. Like, why would you drag it out this way? And then you're signing him after Myles Garrett, after TJ Watt, after these guys get big contract extensions and the money per year just goes up. Well, guess what? It's just costing you more money. It's happened time and time again. This is the latest installment of that. And yet, here we are again. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Okay, so you actually think the Cowboys will not let him go. So you think Jerry's done this too many times, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. So you don't think Jerry's finally going to say, maybe we're okay here?
Nah, not happening. It'd have to be a Godfather offer. And that's the thing. Another team, they're going to have to give up multiple draft assets. We're talking first-round picks. And that's not going to just appease the Cowboys automatically. Like one of the teams mentioned is the Packers. You want a couple of picks in the 20s, and you think that's good enough value for Micah Parsons? That's not going to happen. So, no, it's not going to happen. There's not going to be a team that's willing to give up, like, premium. We're talking, like, top 10, top 15, first-round picks. They're not going to be willing to do that. and that's what it would take for the Cowboys to even be remotely interested in making a deal like that happen. So he's not going anywhere. It's just going to be unnecessarily difficult in the meantime. But he's going to get his money, and we're going to look at the Cowboys like we always do and say, why was it so difficult yet again? But that's exactly what's going to happen soon.
Okay, so if he has to pay all these big deals, what do you say about the Cowboys in 2025? Let's say they got these. I mean, they got Dak, they got CeeDee Lamb, they got Micah Parsons. I mean, they got huge deals on the books. Where are the Cowboys at?
Well, that's the thing, Nate, is I think that there's some value on the Cowboys right now in terms of, you look at their season win total, it's 7.5. They won 7 games last season, and Dak Prescott only played 8 games. You know, how many teams, if they lose their quarterback for over half the season, how many teams in the NFL are winning a bunch of games? Not many. Not many of them are. And you could look at some of the best teams in football, and they wouldn't be winning a ton of games. So if Dak Prescott is healthy this season, I mean, I don't have him in the top 10, but he's just on the outskirts of the top 10. He's a good, productive quarterback. You've got CeeDee Lamb. You've got George Pickens over there now. You've got enough pieces, Jake Ferguson, you got enough pieces to make noise. So I'm not saying they're going to take the division with Washington and Philly there, but over 7.5 wins, absolutely. I love the over for the Cowboys there. If they're blessed with decent health, they're a team that's probably going to have a better than 500 record, maybe challenge for 10-ish wins, maybe even challenge for a playoff spot. I think that's I think it's realistic for the Cowboys with the talent that they have throughout the roster, assuming Micah Parsons is back there.
Brian, no, high on the Cowboys, at least high on the over. Brian Noe on tonight from Vegas, Fox Sports Radio, national host of Countdown. Hey, the Vikings just announced they're going to start J.J. McCarthy in the preseason opener Saturday. What do you think? Kevin O'Connell says we're going to start J.J. Needs to see him. What do you think?
I like it. I do like it, and that's an interesting move, right? There are a lot of teams because, as you well know, Nate, he got hurt in a preseason game. He missed the entire season. There are a lot of teams that would just be cowering in fear, like, no preseason action whatsoever for J.J. McCarthy. I think it's a good idea. Get him some reps. Get him a little bit of seasoning out there. My whole stance on preseason, Nate, is we shouldn't act like it's juggling knives and chainsaws at the same time. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people that are just petrified at the idea of any injury risk whatsoever. And it's like, do you approach joint practices the same way? You know what I mean? Like when you're practicing with another NFL team, do you ever hear quarterbacks not getting any reps whatsoever in fear of injury? Like, you never hear that. I don't know why we're treating preseason like it's this death-defying stunt or something like that. Get him some reps. Get him out there. Like, there's a reason why the Chiefs with Mahomes is out there getting preseason reps. The Chiefs, they use the preseason and get their starters some reps out there. So if the Chiefs are doing it, I don't know why a team like the Vikings wouldn't. I think it makes all the sense in the world to get your rookies some reps, to get a first-year starter like J.J. McCarthy a little bit more reps. I think it's a good move. I like it for the Vikings to do that.
Brian Noe on tonight, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline here on the Nate Brown Show, talking Cowboys, NFL. Now to, did you see this video of Caleb Williams? Did you see his practice video? He was trying to throw the ball into the net, into the holes with nets, and he missed all 3 throws, and then he got frustrated, and it went viral, and people say, oh, Caleb, man, he's a head case, he's struggling. What do you say?
I mean, like, I love that Caleb Williams is such a polarizing figure. You know, Nate, this is ever since his college days where they made a huge deal out of him crying in his mom's arms after a very emotional loss, or that he had his fingernails painted. It's just, people have just loved to pick on Caleb Williams and just, look at the latest thing now. He's getting frustrated after missing the net. It's just ridiculous, man. It's a guy who's got a lot of talent. And it's going to be a really interesting season for him. The excuses are over, right? To have Ben Johnson there, to have a lot of weapons to throw to have an interior offensive line, to get 3 new players there. The excuses are over.
Are you high
Caleb
on him?
Williams.
Are you high
so
on
if he
him?
doesn't get it done this year, right? These are legitimate criticisms if that continues. So, but as far as like crying in college or the nails or this latest video, like that's just silly stuff. That doesn't matter at all. What really matters is how productive he's going to be, and he needs to be productive to get those people off his back.
We have some Bears fans that listen to the show. Are you buying the Bears?
Nope, not buying the Bears. Sorry for the Bears fans in South Dakota. I don't mean to disappoint you or, to turn me into your enemy or anything like that. But no, I'm not buying the Bears, Nate. It's a very, very tough division. When you're in the same division as the Lions, Vikings, and Packers, how much noise are you realistically going to make? I mean, really, that's a tough road in the division. And when you've got Caleb Williams, who, I mean, listen, until I see him really turn the corner, I'm going to bet against his team, right? Like, it's not complex math. It's not algebra over here. It's like until he and the team turns the corner, I'm going to fade them in a division that's that tough.
Very interesting. At least I'm not the only one. I get heat from the Bears fans. They told me they were going to be good last year. I said, no, I'm still not believing this year. We shall see. Brian Noe on tonight. Last one, Jaden Daniels was doing an interview over the weekend. His mom popped in on NFL Network. His mom's like money manager, everything. Like his mom's like all over the place. We good there, Brian? You want mom running the show?
I mean, I don't automatically have a problem with that. He's got a close relationship with his mom, or she handles some of the business over there. I don't think that's automatically a bad thing at all. So, no, I wouldn't be like, here we go. Maybe it's like Lamar Jackson makes me think of Lamar and how he didn't have a standard agent for a while. I don't know if that's still the situation or not. But I don't think it's led to just headaches galore with the Ravens. And Lamar, I think, should be a 3-time MVP. But Lamar's been fantastic in the regular season, just has to get it going in the postseason. But just financially, and I don't think it's been just this ridiculous headache for the Ravens. If anything, it's been a headache for Lamar. I don't think it's a Washington Commanders problem. And maybe it's a Jaden Daniels issue going forward, depending on what the dynamics are, not having a standard agent who's been through this time and time again, all these high-level negotiations. But I don't think there's anything wrong from the Commanders' standpoint, but we'll see where it goes from Jaden's standpoint going forward,
I just can't remember my mom, being involved in my career, but nonetheless, it's okay. All right, interesting psychology.
It'd be kind of interesting, right, Nate, where it's like, you didn't get top dollar? What do you do? Do your job, Mom. Come on, get it going over here. That'd be a weird dynamic, right?
That would be funny. We all talk to our moms. We all need our mom's guidance. But I don't know if I'd want Mom hopping into an interview here with Brian Noe tonight. Okay, that's all. Brian, appreciate you, man. Thanks for the time.
Always good hanging with you, Nate. I'll tell you what, if you need someone handling your high-dollar negotiations, you might want to contact my sister. I think she should be an agent. She is a bulldog.
Okay.
I think she could get you top dollar if that's what you need.
All right. I appreciate that offer. Brian Noe tonight, Fox Sports Radio's Countdown host. Hear him on the weekends. Great show. We'll be talking a lot of ball with Brian, the Noe Show. He's on Twitter X. Yeah, I mean, Jaden Daniels' mom, popped into the interview on the NFL Network over the weekend, and then they got to talking to her. She handles his money. She handles this. She handles that, his PR and all that. And I'm like, do we think that's cool? Is that cool? I don't know if that's cool. I mean, should I call my mom right now? I got her number right here. Hey, Mom, do you want to be on the show? Who should I get on the show next? Who should I talk to about sponsoring this segment? What do you think? Come on, Jaden. Start running the show. Coming right back, Will Simmons, Harrisburg Gold head coach. Harrisburg won the Legion baseball title. And this kid playing for North Carolina still. So he plays for North Carolina, coaches at Harrisburg. Will Simmons live next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch, with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's August 2027. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with zero regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Then replace your old drafty windows with brand new ones.
You know, I do wish these garbage bags were stronger. I reach for the TV remote and ice goes all over the living room floor.
Okay, Mom, call Renewal by Andersen.
Oh, I will. Now, would you like a cold drink? I got plenty of ice.
I don't think so.
Visit RBARapidCity.com today for a free consultation. Lower your heating and cooling bills with windows from Renewal by Andersen of Rapid City. RBARapidCity.com.
Wood has so many options thanks to Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Wake up with the trusted taste of Starbucks or sit down to a full breakfast at Best Brews. Looking for lunch? Build a wonderfully fresh sandwich from Jersey Mike's. Grab some quick and cheesy goodness from Pizza Hut or pull up a chair in Patty O'Neill's Irish Pub. Need something a little more intimate for dinner? Well, Snitches is all the buzz with an evolving menu of chef-designed culinary creations. There's something for everyone to eat at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, located on historic Main Street in Deadwood.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at BHOSC.com.
This is the Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to the Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show Live. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here every afternoon drive. Appreciate it. Good guest lineup tonight. See if we can track down Will Simmons. Not sure. We're trying to track him down. We'll see if we can get him. If we can't get him tonight, we'll do it tomorrow. Harrisburg Gold, Post 45, wins the State Legion baseball title on Saturday. They've won 2 out of the last 3 now. Harrisburg. Will Simmons is the guy. He was the coach here, took over later in the year. He plays at North Carolina in his college baseball season and then comes back and coaches Harrisburg. So, good story. We'll see if we can track him down. Congrats to Harrisburg Gold, Post 45. They got through post 22, got through post 320, and beat Yankton in the state title on Saturday. Remember, some of the guests on tonight you can hear on the Nate Brown Show podcast. A reminder, download it. Find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Search The Nate Brown Show, and you've got every show, every guest right there. Quick report. I want to throw this out in case you missed it. And finally, they're going to get it right. And I just think, though, they just did it too late. Meaning, I think they are going to change this. But I am going to report this today that we have a little bit of good news tonight. The NCAA committee for the tournament has decided they'll stay on 68 teams for now. Did you see that? So that just happened, finalized it today, that the NCAA senior vice president of basketball said expanding the tournament field is no longer being contemplated for the 2026 basketball championships. So they didn't say. However, here it is. That's a great word. However, the committees will continue conversations on whether to recommend expanding to 72 or 76 teams in 2027. So it's one of those things that, well, dang it, we couldn't get it out early enough. We couldn't make it work with the networks and changing stuff around. So we won't do it now. And what's funny is they'll have sports radio and sports media talk about it now for a whole another year and throw them under the bus. And we'll see if we can put enough pressure on them where they won't change it again. But for now, the NCAA is going to leave it at 68 teams. And I'm a March Madness fan. I'm a bracket guy. So I love doing the brackets, love doing March Madness. We've done bracket challenges on this show. So I'm into the NCAA tournament. I at first thought, maybe I'm okay with more tournament games because it's more great basketball. But the more I think about it, you're just going to end up with huge SEC teams, huge Big Ten teams. So you're just going to end up with more of the little above average teams from those conferences. You're not going to end up with more good stories. So it's really like, will I cry if they expand it to 76? I won't cry. It's just a total obvious, well, we want more money. We need more money. It's a big money game. That's it. I won't cry, but it's not the right play. Keep it at 68. The fans will roll with it. The brackets are special. March Madness is great. I won't cry about it, but it's just a dumb thing to do. But they're going to hold off on being dumb for one more year. I still think we're going to go to 72 and 76. I think probably 76. I mean, it's just whatever makes more money. So they keep on acting like it's actually an idea. Should we go to only 72, Jim? What do you think? And he's finishing his vegetable medley at the lunch. Well, I don't know. Could we make more money on 76? Well, yeah, we could. Okay, that's it. Let's just tell them we're not going to do it for a year because we couldn't quite contemplate it enough. You couldn't make the TV deals work, so it's coming. Just get ready. Who's hot and who's not? Let's wrap up the show with some headlines you need to hear next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
I was the cool dad. My kids wanted me to take them to the mall. I didn't think anything about doing it in front of them, even though I knew it was illegal. Then my oldest started driving. Like father, like son. Gotta read that text right now. But he took a life, and now his is shattered too.
Addiction has many faces. Texting and driving when you know it's life-threatening and illegal can be one of them. Take back control. Put the phone down.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Attention, attention Rapid City. More big news from Gateway Autoplex. We are expanding our services with our brand new state-of-the-art auto repair shop located right behind our lot, 123 Omaha Street. Gateway Tire and Alignment. That's right, Rapid City. We're now your one-stop shop for everything auto-related. From routine maintenance to major repairs, our team of expert technicians has you covered. Plus, with our state-of-the-art equipment, you can trust trust that your vehicle is in the best possible hands. Visit Gateway Tire and Alignment and see why nobody beats a Gateway deal.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Slight chance of severe thunderstorms. Tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Lows of around 63. Southerly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again. Tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 91. Lows of around 63. Tomorrow night, mainly clear skies. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 83 degrees.
There's summer, and then there's Murphy's in the summer. Nothing beats it. The food, the drinks, the atmosphere. Whether you're soaking up sunshine on the patio or hanging inside with friends, Murphy's brings the good vibes all season long. Amazing food, cold beers, summer cocktails, live music on the patio, a crew that treats you right, and yes, even a late night menu every Friday and Saturday night. When you're thinking summer in Rapid City, there's only one move, Murphy's. Visit murphyspubandgrill.com. Murphy's, a Rapid City icon.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Welcome back in. You haven't heard that one for a while. I know that we're out and running on a Monday. The show's been packed tonight. The Nate Brown Show is on every afternoon drive. Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. Thanks for being here. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Who's hot and who's not? Let's do it. Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. 2 locations in Rapid City. Also tonight, drop by East 10th Street in Sioux Falls or in Brandon. It's the home of everyone's favorite buffet. Our favorite, your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. Who's hot and who's not? Wrapping up the show tonight. In my Who's Hot category, you know what I got to do. It's the shout-out to the Sioux Falls Super Team. The Little League guys are back at it again. Sioux Falls Little League beat Iowa, beat Missouri. They're in the Midwest Regional semifinals Wednesday against North Dakota. Is the Sioux Falls Little League team on the verge of another Little League World Series? Hang on. I mean, we got some baseball to play, but semifinal appearance against North Dakota. They even play baseball up in North. Oh, anyway, sorry. I'm having fun. Have a good time. Sioux Falls Little League. It's quite the story. So they've won again. Missouri, Iowa, and now semifinal matchup against North Dakota. Couple of wins away from a Little League World Series appearance. In our Pizza Ranch, who's not tonight? Well, James Cook, Bills running back. He's a key part. Holding out so far, wants a new contract. Skipping practice 2 days in a row. James Cook, keep an eye on it. Thanks for listening to The Nate Brown Show, the podcast going up now.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in South Dakota. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins